So the goal is from this, right? It's twofold. I remember in my working history, right? We used to always have to ask for donations. And one particular company that I worked for, we always had to ask for MDA donations, Muscular Dystrophy Association. I don't know if you know about what that is, right? Do you see yourself trying to get into maybe some of these retailers to where they help you and kind of and push what it is that you're doing to get donations from that type of standpoint?
You know what? I hadn't thought. So I do have sponsors, but you are the second person today that has brought that up to me. So now I'm on it.
There you go.
I'm gonna have some next year.
And that's why we're here, right? Because
you are the second person. Yeah.
I've been doing what I do in this field for about 18 years, right? I'm on my road to 20, right? I think 20 is when people say, oh yeah, you're a professional in that field. And we ask for these donations, and people donate just because, we're asking them to donate. They really don't understand what the cause is going to. And I think if we can really build a platform to where people understand what the Harmony House does and what the benefits behind it actually are, right? And I think you're one of those people who can actually tell that story, because not only are you providing this service, you have a personal experience to really go along with that. And I think that's what really makes this special, right? Because you have something that most people don't have. It's not just the business. This is personal. You've seen the impacts of not being able to have a program like this. So what you're providing to people is that problem being solved, and who better to do it than somebody who understands what people are really going through. So I'm invested in it. So I would say at this point, how do people get in contact with you? How do they find you? How do they support you in the Harmony House?
Shameless plug. Here you go. So always my website, harmonyhousedayprogram.com, Harmony House Day Program on Facebook and on Instagram. Always, I check my DMs, I read my DMs, or you can just straight up call me, 470-708-4678. I always have my phone on me, literally, always.
Throw that phone number back out there again.
Yep, 470-708-4678.
That's what I'm talking.
That goes right to me. I always have that phone with me. You will always get me.
And I think that's really what it boils down to. So here at the Labor Lounge, I appreciate you hanging out with us, right? Because this is the Labor Lounge. We supporting the people who serve people. And I think it's important, right? The reason this channel even came about is because, like I say, I'm on my 18th year. I've been dealing with the public for a very long time. I've been cussed out, spit on, all kind of stuff, right? I've had to deal with everything people think is nasty out here in this field, right? And I don't think people get the appreciation that they deserve. And for somebody like you who's out here putting the work in to provide a space that's safe for people with intellectual
disabilities.
Disabilities. Okay, I wanted to make sure I got that right.
Yeah.
But people, it's important because it shows that we do have people out here who are trying to make a difference, right? And make it safe for everybody. It's not a selfish purpose. So I'm invested. You got my support. You got the Labor Lounge support. And I'm pretty sure everybody else on the panel feels the same.
You're damn right.
I appreciate it, guys.
I got a question, right? And when it comes, so earlier I made a mention and I said mental challenges, right? Or mental, I forget what the word that I said. And you corrected me, rightfully so. You said intellectual disabilities, right? Now, I would imagine that this happens more often than not. How do you deal with those situations in the most constructive way?
Just as simple. I say, hey, this is more on the intellectual side, but they go hand in hand. So it's not offensive to me per se, but to those that may have autism. Just because you have autism doesn't necessarily mean you have some type of mental disability, in a sense. So I like to just kind of correct people in a sense, but they can go hand in hand for some people. So it's not necessarily offensive. I can see how people can get those two mixed up and get those crossed, because they can blend together, and that line can be very thin for certain individuals between the two.
So for people who don't know, what what is it about autism would you like people to actually know that are watching this show? Like, because for the layman's individual, right? We look at things in a casual sense. So it's like, people are just walking, doing their jobs and doing their business. They don't mean to be offensive, but they're just applying their energy towards other things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for people that are everyday individuals, if you could go ahead and communicate something to them, what would it be about autism, or, give them a little bit of knowledge about autism?
I will say that autism comes on a very wide spectrum. So there's no one way to kind of point it out. But if you come across a person that is on the spectrum, just be kind and be patient, especially if they are working. Because for sometimes it's hard just to get up and just to work a job. And if it's a service job, if it's a person who's a cashier, or they're in front of the public, just take a moment. Like, I know we get really busy and you just want to get through the line and get done, but that might be like, you rushing that person could literally be the one thing that takes them over the top and causes them to have a breakdown. It's just be a little bit kind or a little bit patient if you can when you come across someone like that, or just in general, because you never even know if a person has autism. You could look at them and say nothing's wrong with them, and they definitely could be on the higher end of the spectrum and you just not know. So just be a little kind, because it is, some people you can, maybe you can tell if you have a conversation, you'll go, okay, maybe I can see something there. But some of them have Asperger's, which is a form of autism, and it's more of a social thing where they'll operate and they'll do everything at the job, but you may want to stand at the register and have a conversation. They don't want to talk to you, or they just kind of look at you because it's more of a transaction. Come on, give me your money. like let's go through. just be a little bit more patient and calm with that person, and that will actually kind of go a long way. And a lot of times that can just save that person, because they're just trying to do they just want to do like everyone else and work a job or drive a vehicle or date. Just have a little patience.
Hey, real quick though, y'all need to stop what y'all doing for one moment. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, like it, and then share it with somebody.